I did not put fighting pumpkins on there. Oh well, probably shouldn't swear. Hi, I'm Kayla. This is my YouTube channel. It is the first video on my channel, so I can't really welcome you back, but thank you for finding it in the first place. I figured for my intro video, the AuthorTube Newbie Tag was the appropriate way to go. So I believe that Jenna Streety originated the tag. I will put her link down below. But I am actually going to steal an idea from Meredith Phillips and just cherry pick the parts that I actually want to answer, because there's a lot of questions between version 1 and version 2, and not all of them are questions that I'm really interested in answering, and some of them are kind of duplicate-y. So question 1 is, what is your book's pitch? If you're working on multiple projects, pick your favorite. So I am working on multiple projects, although I'm not really allowed to be. I'm not great at working on multiple projects, so to be determined how successful it is. But my main project is a paranormal romance novel set in the Pacific Northwest about mountain lions. Kira is accidentally infected with the therianthropy virus on a camping trip with her sister and doesn't realize it until she wakes up in a shapeshifter holding cell the morning after her first full moon. And she has to acclimatize to this brave new world that she finds herself in while juggling her growing crush on the very hot son of her alpha, the heir apparent. Currently it is just called Alex and Kira's Book because I don't have a title for it, because titling things is stupid. But I would love a mountain lion pun. So if you have a good mountain lion pun, please leave a comment. So question 2 is, what genre do you write in? I personally am a paranormal romance or urban fantasy girl. With urban fantasy, I mean specifically like snarky monster hunter books, like the main character drinks too much coffee and maybe has a magic sword. Harry Dresden, Maggie Hosky, Toby Day, obviously. I love those like long drawn out series that have a lot of snark and wisecracking and end of the world doom for our scrappy hero to face down. I love that shit. And that's what I write. So I write like very tropey, indulgent romance novels and very tropey, indulgent urban fantasy. I love that shit. Question 3 is, what is something you will never ever write? And for me, that's a YA contemporary. We'd have to be at the heat death of the universe for me to write a YA contemporary. Contemporary just like really isn't my bag. I don't want to write anything that doesn't actively have a monster in it. And I don't read a ton of YA. I also probably won't write hard sci-fi, not because I don't love sci-fi. I'm a sci-fi girl for sure, but because my brain doesn't hang on to that kind of information very well. I would not do well at writing a complicated sciencey book. So I'm happy to read it from other people, but I'm not gonna be the one to deliver on it because I would do it poorly. Question 4 is, what is your preferred point of view, tense, and category? I write adult, both just like for grown-ups and also like adult, you know? Adult. And I write my paranormal romance and my snarky monster hunter books in different tenses and points of view. So for paranormal romance, I do a limited omniscient third, present tense, and I like alternate between the romantic leads. And then for my snarky monster hunter books, I write the first person past tense. And I think that that's a conceit of the genre. A lot of the books that I read write in that point of view, in that tense. And I think that that's because they're so heavily influenced by like the fantastic noir novels that were, you know, first person narratives, very, I knew she was trouble the moment she stepped in my office kind of thing. I love that. I also like really enjoy noir, so I think it's appropriate to my genre, and that is how I write it. So question 5 is, what is the goal for your AuthorTube channel / what do you bring to the table? And this question is a little bit weird for me, but bear with me and I think we'll get there together. I am mostly just a tired, grumpy office goth. Like, I have a capitalism job, which is the job that you have to pay your bills, whatever they may be. And finding time to write around my capitalism job and my domestic labor that I don't share with anyone can be hard. It can be difficult to find the emotional and mental energy to tackle writing when I have already had a full week of bullshit from work and dishes, laundry, cooking, cleaning, groceries, all that kind of shit. So I understand that I'm a grumpy, tired goth who thinks that sometimes writing is just too damn hard, is not like a great sales pitch. But when I went looking for, that was a weird one. When I went looking for AuthorTube content, I found a lot of beautiful, aspirational, inspiration porn videos that are beautifully shot, they're inspiring, they have these like wonderful, good vibes only messages, and that is great. That's the kind of content that I watch a lot of the time. But it doesn't really reflect my experience as a writer all the time, or even most of the time. And while I know that there is some of that content out there, it's not the majority. And I think that being able to see it helps make me feel like I'm just on the path. Because when I see a lot of this like aspirational content, people whose day job is writing, it's aspirational, obviously, but it makes me feel like the way that I'm doing it and like where I am isn't like right or valid, which is so stupid. Then that's not the point of that content. That is like something that I read into it, but it can make me feel weird about where I am in my journey as an author, and where I want to be on my journey as an author. So I kind of wanted to just put a little bit more of the content that reflected my reality out there, because I know if I was looking for it, maybe someone else is looking for it too. And so if there's someone else who sees all this like beautiful aspirational content and thinks that's great, but that's not where I am, I want to, you know, find someone who mirrors my experience more. Like maybe I can be that for you. Question 6 is, what is your publishing path? If you are not published, what is your dream agent, dream publishing house? So I'm not published, obviously, and I want to be a hybrid author. I want to self-publish my paranormal romance, and I want to publish my snarky monster hunter books with DAW. I want to publish with DAW because Shauna McGuire publishes with DAW, and she's my hands down favorite author. Question 8 is, what is your biggest writing struggle? So I have two. I have like an actual writing part struggle, which for me is pacing. I kind of want to blame fan fiction for it, partially because like then I don't have to blame myself, but also because fan fiction doesn't prioritize traditional pacing the way that published books do. And I wrote fan fiction for a very long time. So I think that some of that has bled over into my writing instincts, and it does not always serve me well. We can actually do a video about the ways in which fan fiction has maybe not served me well, and has in other ways served me very well, but it's for a future date. Pacing is a big problem for me. And then I think I've indicated that I'm not necessarily great at motivation or forcing myself to actually sit down and write, disciplining myself a little bit that way. Rachel Stevens has this metaphor about inspiration kind of being like an inefficient bus that may or may not actually show up, but if you don't go to the bus stop to try to catch it, it doesn't matter if the bus is on time, you won't catch it. So I'm that bitch who doesn't even go to the bus stop. 9 times out of 10, if I do that, if I open the document, if I set my little Pomodoro timer, I'll write something. I can usually be trusted to knock out between 500 and 800 words in sort of a 40-minute period if I just make myself do it. And even with a job, like a full-time job, even with all my own domestic labor, I have a couple of chunks of 45 minutes in my day that I could be using to write. And part of my struggle is making myself show up for those periods of time that I have and incentivizing myself to get to that bus stop and try. If I try and fail, that's fine, but like if I didn't even try at all, that kind of sucks, right? So question 8, the actual question 8, last question is, do you schedule your writing time? And I don't, but I'm more productive when I do. I was doing this whole time blocking thing for a bit where I was like scheduling to the half hour, and that was great because I never wondered what I was doing. I have this problem where I'll like know that I have a block of free time, and instead of doing something in that block of free time, I wonder what I should do in that block of free time, and then I wasted all of it. It's a complete write-off. So when I time blocked, I just knew what I was doing, and that made my life a whole lot easier. So that was the last question. Thank you so much for sticking it out if you got this far. I don't know exactly what my next video will be, but I'm going to try to post once a week, so I hope you come back for that. If you were looking for me anywhere else, I am basically everywhere as Kayla Amanda. That is Kaylughmanda. And I will see you next time.